The Splatfest theme is... Time for a super showdown! What superpowers would you rather have, time travel or teleportation? Time travel without a doubt. When I had an awesome day, I could rewind to the morning and do it all again. And I've never really liked Tuesdays, so I could just straight up skip Tuesdays. I'd win every turf war by knowing what was going to happen before it did. I'd splat my enemy, then go back in time and splat their entire family tree! Whoa, chill, Pearl. And I guess I could go back and stop bad stuff from happening or whatever. Now we're talking. Like what sort of bad stuff? Like if I lost at Splatfest, I could just go back in time and pick the other team. Classy. You're not worried about changing the past and messing up the future? Nah, I'd only make good changes, like giving cell phones to cave squids. Right, well, I don't want to cause a time paradox, I'd go teleportation. You could go anywhere, anytime, instantly. Win any race, flank any enemy, get out of any situation. Do you realize how much time we spend going from place to place? Imagine a world where you're always where you want to be. That's the power of teleportation. Yeah, until a time traveler goes back in time and splats your grandma. Why not just teleport behind them and splat them before they could travel? Oh yeah? Why not travel into the future and buy a teleportation canceller? I teleported to another planet before you came back. What about you at home? Head over to the Splatfest terminal and pick a side. Hello, everybody, here to you, and welcome back to Let's Play Splatoon 2 Splatfest, and this stage is awesome! We're now going to be playing Time Travel versus Teleportation. This Splatfest happened from May 18, 2019 through May 19, 2019, but who cares about all that because I just want to talk about how awesome the Shifty Station layout is! This is the Chronicles of Rolanium. So, this takes another idea that we saw from the single-player campaigns, so where there were the Rolanium thingies that we could use, and we get to use them against the other team. This is awesome! I love the Shifty Station layout, it's so cute! So, I think we've seen this one already during one of the Gator streams we did with Gaming with Pi. I don't remember exactly which one of them, but I do remember playing this on a stream at one point. But either way, this is a pretty fun stage, and I really like this one. I just love using the Rolaniums. They're just such a fun game mechanic, and like, I don't know, they're just like so much fun. It's hard to describe, but I really like how they did it with the Rolaniums and things like that. But anyway, let's not talk about that anymore because we have some other things to go over now. So now we'll be going over the Japanese version of this Splatfest, C versus Pa. I believe the name is supposed to be a reference to the regions. Well, first of all, I'll just explain what the thing actually was for. So this was for like the Japanese equivalent of, I believe, the baseball thing for Japan. The NPB, the Nippon Professional Baseball thingy. Basically the Japanese equivalent of the MLB in America, so like Major League Baseball and things like that. So that's kind of cool. The C and the PA thing, C is meant to resemble Central and Peace Corps Pacific and things like that, so it's supposed to be referencing different regions of Japan and things like that, so that's kind of interesting. I gotta be honest, I'm not really that much into baseball. Like, I liked baseball when I was a kid, because my family would go to the Wide World of Sports and we'd watch baseball games and things like that, and that was always pretty fun. But I think as I've gotten older, I've realized I just don't really like sports that much, because, like, most of the time, not a whole lot is actually happening. So, like football, for example, I can't stand football, because they do stuff for 5 seconds, and then they go back into a huddle, and then it takes forever for them to start doing things again. Like, if I did like a sport, it'd probably be basketball, honestly, because, like, something is always happening constantly. And probably also volleyball, but that's mostly because most of the friends that I had growing up were volleyball players and things like that, so that's kind of interesting. But turf war, that's where the real sport is. And we're demonstrating another Shifty Station match because of a reason that's kind of silly, and it makes me really regret saying a couple of videos ago that we'll be demonstrating more matches in these next couple of videos because looking at the footage, I realized I didn't actually record a whole lot of matches for these next couple Splatfests. It was mostly just Shifty Station things. I think around this time I had recorded footage for most of the other Shifty Splatfest stages, but we haven't really used them, so that's one thing that I've learned from making this Let's Play that I can take into account when doing another Let's Play like this someday, to be more careful with which stages we use for these videos. But anyway, that's not the point now. The point right now is that we're demonstrating this Shifty Station layout again. It's going to be fun. So going on to the theme with time travel versus teleportation, this one is one that I honestly don't really know which one I prefer because both sound really cool. With like time travel, that'll just be really fun to be able to like go back in time and meet your historical heroes and witness amazing events in person and then like stop bad things from happening. And you also being able to see the future and things like that. But there's one thing that it's always in the back of my mind whenever time travel comes into conversation. So, you know how like the human body develops like kind of like immunity to certain diseases as time goes on and things like that? So if somebody from nowadays were to go back in time, how would that affect like the human body and things like that? Because there'd be diseases back then that have been eradicated, so would somebody nowadays be immune to something that's going around back then? And what about the future? So like, if somebody today were to go into the future when another big major illness is spreading, how would that work? So that's one thing that I like usually get really concerned about and things like that. At the risk of going to a serious topic, basically I'm wondering what would happen if somebody from like what would happen if somebody were to like suddenly teleport from the past into 2020 when COVID was so spreading and things like that. That would probably not be a very pleasant experience. But as for teleportation, that one also just sounds really appealing too, because being able to teleport anywhere instantly, that'd be a dream come true, honestly, because I don't like the commute to work and things like that. I have to take a bus there, and I do not like the buses. So being able to teleport instantly would just be really cool. Be able to go to any theme park that I want to, and oh, that just sounds really appealing. If I were to choose one superpower, though, it'd definitely be flying, because like being able to fly around, that would be amazing. That would be cool. Telekinesis would also be really cool and things like that. It's kind of funny that I'm describing what powers I would want when I've written books about people with superpowers, who can like control lightning and water, and I'm writing a superhero story where a guy has like claws and things like that. That's pretty interesting. And yay for self-promotional things. Blam! Ba-bam! Team Teleportation takes the Splatfest! What? No! This truly is the darkest timeline. Way to go, team. I'm proud of you. So are you going to go back in time and switch teams? Nah, I'm proud of Team Time Travel. I'm not going to give up on developing my time travel powers. I just need more practice. Oh, I felt something. See? Look at the clock. It's a minute later. If you participate in the Splatfest, your prizes are waiting in the square. So on the topic of time travel and things like that, I don't know if this is common or anything like that, but like, does anybody else get like premonitions? Because I have a weird system for premonitions that happens a lot where like I'll randomly just like suddenly think of something or it's a place I'd never seen before, it's a person I'd never seen before, and there could be music going on in the background that I'd never heard before. And then later, it could be like days or months or sometimes even years, that thing happens, where the exact thing that I had in mind comes to mind, and it happens, I'm like, wait, haven't I seen this before? And then I'm like, oh, wait, this is something I thought about a long time ago. And if you want an example of this, there's something that happened recently at work, where there's one day where after our closing shift at Galaxy's Edge, we were treated to some Mickey Mouse bars. And so the image that I had in my mind was this one alleyway that I walk to my break room every night. So I'm over there and I see this girl and she's looking over her shoulder slightly eating an ice cream bar. And that was like a picture that I had in my mind years ago. So yeah, that's kind of an interesting thing. There's another girl that I know at work who also has a premonition thing, but like it's a little complicated, but it's pretty cool too. But anyway, that's going to be it for this episode of Splatoon 2 Splatfest. So thank you all so much for watching this episode. In the next video, it's going to be... what month is it going to be? It's going to be June 2019, as we'll be taking care of Unicorn versus Narwhal. It's going to be the most manly Splatfest in the universe. So thank you all so much for watching this video, and next time, Lady Gator to you. Oh yeah.